Let me paint you a picture. You know someone, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's you, who is genuinely intelligent, like objectively smart, good job, decent income, understands how the world works. And yet somehow, every month, the money just disappears.
No savings, no investments, no idea where it went.
Exactly. And the easy answer is, they're just bad with money. But that's not actually an answer. That's just restating the problem with more judgment attached to it.
Because being smart has almost nothing to do with being good with money. And today we're going to talk about why. This is behavioral finance, the science of why human beings make terrible financial decisions, even when they know better.
And the reason we love this topic is because it's not about math. It's not about not knowing what a Roth IRA is or not understanding compound interest. Smart people know all of that. The problem runs deeper.
It's psychological, it's emotional, it's almost biological.
So let's get into it. The first thing you have to understand is that your brain was not built for modern financial decisions. Like, at a fundamental level, your brain evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to solve completely different problems. Find food, avoid predators, stay in the tribe, don't die today. Right, short-term survival. That was the whole game, and the brain got very, very good at it. The problem is that building wealth is the opposite of short-term thinking. It requires you to delay gratification, sometimes for decades, in exchange for a reward you can barely imagine.
And your ancient survival-wired brain absolutely hates that.
It hates it. There's actually a term for this in behavioral economics. It's called hyperbolic discounting. And it basically means that humans systematically overvalue rewards in the present and undervalue rewards in the future.
So if someone offers you $100 today or $150 in 6 months, most people take the $100 today, even though waiting 6 months for 50% more is a mathematically insane return. Because the future doesn't feel real. The future is abstract. The $100 in your hand right now, that's concrete, that's tangible. Your brain treats those two things completely differently, even though logic says they're both just money. And this plays out in real life constantly. Every time someone says, I'll start saving next month. Every time someone thinks, I'll invest when I have more money. Every time someone buys something today instead of putting it away for tomorrow. That's not laziness. That's hyperbolic discounting. That's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do, prioritize the present. So knowing that, how do smart people fall into this trap? Because smart people know they should save. They know future them will need money. They understand the concept completely. And this is the cruel irony. Intelligence doesn't protect you from these biases. In some ways, it makes it worse. Because smart people are very good at constructing reasons why their irrational behavior is actually completely rational. Oh, that's a great point. There's a term for this too, rationalization, or sometimes called galaxy-brained thinking. You're so smart that you can build an airtight logical argument for why spending your emergency fund on a new laptop right now actually makes financial sense. It's an investment in my productivity. I'll make more money with a faster computer. The returns will far outweigh the cost.
And maybe that's true, but probably it's just a smart brain reverse engineering a justification for something it already wanted to do. That's not financial reasoning, that's financial storytelling.
So let's talk about the second big concept, because this one really stopped me when I first learned about it. It's called loss aversion.
This one is huge. So the research, and this comes out of the work of Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, who basically invented this whole field. The research shows that losing money hurts roughly twice as much as gaining the same amount of money feels good. So if you gain $100, that feels good. If you lose $100, that feels roughly twice as bad, even though it's the same $100. Which sounds like a minor quirk, but think about what this does to financial behavior. It makes people terrified of investing, because investing involves the possibility of loss, and your brain weights that possible loss at double the value of the equivalent possible gain. So even when the math says this is a good bet, your emotional brain is screaming, but what if you lose? This is why people keep money in cash savings accounts earning almost nothing instead of investing it. The math says invest, the gut says protect. And the gut wins, almost every time, because feelings are faster than logic. By the time your rational brain catches up, the emotional decision has already been made. There's actually a physical thing that happens. Your nervous system responds to financial loss the same way it responds to physical threat. The same stress hormones, the same fight or flight activation. Your body literally treats losing money like being chased by something dangerous. which is why people panic sell during a market crash, which is literally the worst possible thing you can do financially. You buy high when everything feels good and safe. You sell low when everything feels scary. You lock in the loss and miss the recovery. And you know this. After the fact, everyone knows this. I shouldn't have sold. But in the moment, the fear is completely overwhelming because your brain inks survival is at stake. So what do you do about loss aversion? Because knowing about it doesn't make it go away. The answer is structure. You build systems that make the loss-averse decision impossible. You automate your investments so you never have the choice of whether to invest this month or not. You remove your own access to the decision, which is why every behavioral economist recommends automatic contributions, not because people are too dumb to invest manually, but because the moment you introduce a choice, loss aversion kicks in and the choice becomes emotionally loaded. Take the choice away and you take the bias away. Exactly. Okay, let's talk about the third concept, because this one is really specific to smart, high-earning people, and it explains why someone can go from earning $30,000 a year to $100,000 a year and somehow feel just as financially tight both times. Lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation, or what economists sometimes call hedonic adaptation. The idea is that humans adapt very quickly to new circumstances. Whatever you have becomes the new baseline, and then you need more to feel the same level of satisfaction. So you get a raise. For about 2 weeks, you feel amazing. You feel rich. You feel like everything is going to change. And then your brain recalibrates. The new salary becomes normal, and suddenly the apartment feels a little small. The car feels a little old. The vacations feel a little modest compared to what people at your new income level seem to be doing. And you spend to match the feeling of success rather than to build actual financial security. This is why there are people earning $200,000 a year living paycheck to paycheck, which sounds insane until you understand hedonic adaptation, because at every income level, spending has a way of expanding to fill the container. And it feels completely justified at every step. I work hard. I deserve a nicer car. I'm at a senior level now. I should live in a better neighborhood. People in my position take real vacations. None of those things are wrong in isolation. The problem is when all of them happen simultaneously every time income goes up, and none of the increase ever gets captured into savings or investments. The fix for this is something called paying yourself first, which we've talked about before, but the behavioral reason it works is that it captures the income increase before hedonic adaptation can claim it. The day your salary goes up, your automatic investment contribution goes up by the same amount. You never feel the new money. Your lifestyle never inflates to meet it because you never saw it. Out of sight, out of baseline. Exactly. Okay, fourth concept, and this one is subtle, but it destroys a lot of people. It's called the mental accounting trap. Explain this one because it took me a while to fully get it. So mental accounting is the idea that humans treat money differently based on where it came from or what category they've mentally assigned it to, even though money is money. A dollar is a dollar regardless of its origin. Give an example. Classic example, tax refund. Someone gets a $1,500 tax refund. That same person would never in a million years take $1,500 out of their savings account and spend it on a weekend trip or a new TV. But the tax refund, gone in a week. Because in their head, the tax refund is found money. It's bonus money. It doesn't feel like real money their savings do. So the mental roles they apply to it are completely different. Even though it's literally the same dollars, there's no physical difference between the money in your savings and the money from a tax refund. Same thing happens with gambling winnings or birthday money or an end-of-year bonus. People spend extra money far more easily than they spend regular money because the mental category is different. And this works in reverse too. People will carry credit card debt at 20% interest while simultaneously keeping money in a savings account earning 2%. Mathematically, you should use the savings to pay off the credit card immediately. But the savings account feels like safety, and the credit card debt is in a different mental bucket. It's a debt to be slowly managed, not an emergency to be solved with savings. So they pay hundreds of dollars in interest to maintain the psychological comfort of having a savings balance. The brain is wild, truly wild. So how do you fight mental accounting? The brutal answer is that you have to force yourself to see all money as the same money. Any extra or windfall income should be treated with the exact same rules as your regular income. What percentage goes to savings, what percentage to investments, what percentage to spending. The source doesn't change the rules. Write it down in advance so you're not making emotional in-the-moment decisions when the money lands. Exactly. Make the decision when you're calm and rational, not when you're staring at a tax refund feeling like you just won something. Okay, let's wrap this up because I think there's a really important overarching point to make here. All of these things we've talked about, hyperbolic discounting, loss aversion, lifestyle inflation, mental accounting, none of them are personality flaws. None of them mean someone is irresponsible or stupid. They're universal. They apply to everyone. PhDs in economics fall for these biases. Financial advisors fall for them. People who study this stuff professionally fall for them in their own lives. Because knowing about a bias doesn't make you immune to it. The feelings are still real. The pull is still there. What knowledge does give you is the ability to design your environment so that the bias doesn't get a chance to act. You automate so you don't get to choose whether to invest. You pre-commit your raises before lifestyle inflation can claim them. You apply consistent rules to all money so mental accounting can't create false categories. You're not trying to win a fight against your own brain. You're trying to build a system where you don't have to fight, because you will not out-discipline your biology. No one does. The people who build real wealth aren't people with more willpower. They're people with better systems. And that's actually the most freeing thing about behavioral finance once you really get it. You stop blaming yourself for being human, and you start building structures that work with how humans actually behave, not how you wish you behaved. Stop fighting yourself. Build the system. That's the whole episode in one sentence right there. If this one made you think, share it with that smart friend of yours who can't figure out where their money goes. They're not broken. They're just human. And now they have a reason why. We'll see you next time. See you next time.